Welcome to another episode of the Crypto PowerPod, where joining me today I have Eddie, who is the co-founder and CTO of Pwr Chain. So welcome to the PowerPod, Eddie.
Thank you for having me, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be here.
Fantastic stuff. As always, we've got 20 questions to dive straight into, so we'll look to get started with question number one. In one sentence, Eddie, what key problem does Pwr Chain solve?
Pwr Chain breaks the barrier between Web3 and Web2. It allows anyone to build in any coding language without the hurdles of smart contracts or any complex Web3 topics. It's just simple software development, but on the blockchain.
Fantastic. And what is the 30-second elevator pitch for Pwr Chain?
I would go with just explaining the general issue with blockchain. I would say blockchain is a powerful technology that can eliminate the trust from the equation in governance and economic systems. However, in Web3, we have limited it to a few coding languages and very limited capabilities, while Web2 development capabilities are way more powerful. Pwr Chain simply removes this development barrier and enables any developer to use existing Web2 development power on a blockchain to inherit its trustlessness, decentralization, and security.
Fantastic stuff. And we see a lot of blockchains in the space. How does your technology differ from competitors?
Well, it depends on who we categorize as our competitor. Because if we're talking about the development space in general, every smart contract blockchain would kind of categorize as our competitor. But when we talk about software development in Web3, as far as I know, there's no competitors. But talking about the first category, the smart contract development, if we compare ourselves to them, Pwr Chain is a much more developer-friendly environment. Pwr Chain has much more powerful development capabilities because you can use any existing coding languages, any existing libraries, any existing algorithms, and near limitless computational power, automation, interaction with the internet. So it is very Web2 savvy. It brings all the capabilities from the Web2 space onto the Web3 space. Or I wouldn't say it brings them on, it combines the two to take the best out of both worlds.
It's quite interesting as well because you've spoken there around kind of developers and the types of coding language they use, which has been a huge challenge within the Web3 space, and obviously frictionless adoption from the Web2 space as well. Who would you say the target demographic is? Is it business to business? Is it those developers, or is it the users, or a combination of all three?
I think it's a combination, because a decentralized blockchain by nature is meant for all people and all users, and we expect to see all kinds of applications on it. Developers is definitely a target audience of ours, because for the first time, you can actually go after any developer in Web3. You don't have to ask them to learn a new coding language and incentivize with money and all of that. No, you just introduce an interesting technology to developers, and if they can build with it in any coding language, they will adopt it. But I would definitely also target B2B and even governments. I believe blockchain should be implemented more widely than it is right now. It can help a lot of businesses accelerate their underlying technology, and it can also help governments enhance trust and accelerate their underlying development of infrastructure.
Yeah, some incredible USPs there. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this develops. What's the biggest alpha on the project that you can share with us at this point in time?
Biggest alpha. So we have many EVM layer ones, and we also have many dApps that are software applications. So we're already seeing adoption of decentralized software application development. With that in mind, I would say the biggest alpha right now is possibly Shimaruverse. They're like the Netflix of India. We've partnered with them and we've become their exclusive blockchain partner to build their future projects. Right now, they are building a metaverse on Pwr Chain. They've already built it as a software application. The beautiful thing about this also is that they've been building this metaverse for a year and a half with the smart contracts and struggling because they always had to outsource. They couldn't find any good developers. And after a year and a half of working with the smart contracts, they migrated to Pwr Chain in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, they migrated 1.5 years of work to Pwr Chain because it's software development. It was easy for their in-house developers, which already had context about the project, which already had experience, knew the coding style, the working style. 2 weeks is all it took them to build a 1.5 years project directly as a software application on Pwr Chain. And now they're taking it a step forward. Shimaruverse are also having their own Ethereum virtual machine running on top of Pwr Chain. So Pwr Chain, to those who don't know, is like a layer 0 blockchain. So on top of it, you can have execution environments running, like the Ethereum virtual machine. And it can act as your own layer 1 with its own currency and its own everything. And that's what Shimaru is also doing. So not only are they building decentralized software applications on Pwr Chain, they're also building their own decentralized EVM layer 1 to accelerate the entire entertainment space in India and hopefully all over the world.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty impressive. That's some nice alpha. I'm sure people will be checking that out as well when they tune into the podcast. Now we're going to move on to the more personal life lifestyle and opinionated questions. So, what's the worst advice you've ever been given, Eddie?
Worst advice. The thing about me is I don't actually keep worst advices in my head. So whenever someone gives me like a kind of bad advice, I just immediately flush it out if it doesn't make much logical sense. And if it makes logical sense, I think about it a little bit. And if it makes sense, I say, like, there's a quote that goes around, especially with young entrepreneurs, people who are just getting started. And it goes like, I will rest when I die. I used to be like that. And to some extent, I'm still like that, working 12 to 14 hours a day. I don't think that counts as resting, but I do keep 1 to 2 hours to myself to go to the gym, maybe play a simple video game just to relax my mind. So I would say, yeah, the worst advice is just working till you burn out yourself. It's important to take even just like 1 or 2 hours a day, if you're still someone like me, just to take care of yourself physically and mentally.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely agree with recharging the batteries and just taking a bit of time away to get that balance. 100%.
Burnouts don't build empires.
What's your favorite conspiracy theory that you don't actually believe?
I have to go with the aliens part, because there's the interesting, what makes a conspiracy theory interesting, even though you don't believe in it, is how complex, detailed, and deep they will actually go into it. So I have a friend of mine in Dubai, and for a short while last year, he went into the alien conspiracy theories, and he would share all of them with me, like also the levels of aliens, level 4, level 5, that kind of stuff, meeting the aliens in the US desert, stuff like that. So I don't remember all of it, but I remember it was like very detailed, as if scientists have really been putting decades of work and research into it. So I like that. I can't say I believe in it too much, but I do like the amount of detail and attention that goes into alien conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. There's a lot of layers and a lot of rabbit holes you can go down. But let's move on to opinions. Whose opinion do you value the most on social media, and why?
The thing is, when it comes to opinions, I always try to analyze it in a logical sense. I don't care who the opinion is coming from, even if it's coming from someone I hate or consider my enemy, I would take it into consideration if it makes sense. So I'm not the kind of person to vouch for certain people. I look more at what the opinion is and what the reasoning behind it is. So I can't really say that there's any person that comes to mind.
Nope, that's fair. It's a good, insightful answer, though, in terms of just kind of deeper thinking. So very interesting. What's your go-to takeaway or fast food?
My go-to takeaway or fast food? One place comes to mind. I don't imagine it's very popular with everyone. It's called Mr. Brown. It's in Dubai. The reason why I would say Mr. Brown is because of their healthy plates. I mostly try to eat healthy, and they have some amazing plates that are both healthy and tasty, especially the protein bowl. That's my go-to. I eat that at least 3 times a week, let's say. I'm not too much into McDonald's, KFC, or too much fried or processed food.
I think that's fine, though. I think we're seeing a lot more takeaways and fast food outlets that are offering healthier versions. I think people are a lot more kind of lifestyle conscious these days. So it's a great shout out to them. And if people are in Dubai, check it out.
In my workspace, where I'm also sitting and coding every day, I don't have the luxury to mess around with food. Someone who, let's say, works in construction or fitness, or even as a waiter, they're moving more than me. They have much more movement than me. In my case, I'm mostly just sitting, coding, having calls, communicating with the team every day. Go to the gym 1 or 2 hours maybe. So it's not enough to burn too much calories. So I have to, anyway, be conscious about what I eat.
Yeah, and nutrition's important. You don't get too much from a McDonald's, so it's fair. If you had a clone, Eddie, what would you have them do for you?
For the past 5 years, I've been wishing I had 5 clones. I would take over the world. If I had a clone, I'd probably just put it to work. Like we'd both just be working all day. It would definitely boost efficiency a lot. So yeah, give me 5 clones. 1 will not be enough.
Great stuff. Which non-crypto app do you use the most? So nothing at all to do with your job.
Non-crypto app. Well, the thing is, outside of just my development job, I'm also, let's say, a Web 2 and Web 3 investor. So it's mostly Web 2 economics related apps, Yahoo Finance or Interactive Brokers or TradingView. I would say one of these maybe categorizes as my most used non-Web 3 app, because most of my daily time is actually coding, not using really many apps.
Great stuff. And if you could have any superpower for just one day, what would it be?
For just one day? Okay, see, the just one day thing kind of limits it a lot, because if you had flying for one day, I mean, after that one day, it's kind of useless. If you had teleportation, well, you want to be careful not to get stuck somewhere before the one day expires. Any kind of power with just one day wouldn't be of too much help. unless you want to use it to accumulate either wealth or power. And the problem is, if you want to do either of those with just one day of superpowers, either you want to be a criminal, but then that backfires after the one day because whatever superpower you had disappears, or you want to become a super genius. So I'd probably go for something simple since it's only one day, something fun, possibly like either flying or jumping super high without dying when I crash. Because that's something I do in my dreams all the time. I'd love to do it in real life. So something simple, something fun as that would get the job done for one day.
It's quite interesting that you talk about wealth or status. I've had somebody else previously on a PowerPod, and we were talking about time traveling as the conspiracy theory, and they were convinced that Elon Musk has come back in time because he's far ahead of most people at this moment in time.
Okay, one second. If I pick time travel as the superpower, does it reset if I time travel to the start of the day? I can time travel to tomorrow and then live 10 years, but then time travel to the start of the day whenever I want to reset my powers, then go back.
Yep, infinite loop. Yeah, I like it. What do you do for fun, Eddie, other than the gym?
For fun, other than the gym? Well, I'm kind of an outdoor person. So recently I started to take weekends off. For the past many years, I wouldn't take any day off. Recently I started to kind of take weekends off. So I mostly enjoy stuff in the mountains. So right now during the summer, I'm not staying in Dubai. I'm mostly in green countries. So whenever I can, I go with my friends hiking, camping, very simple, basic stuff. But it's the people you do it with that kind of brings joy. So yeah, outdoor activities. That's my go-to. Or just a simple 1 hour game with the boys. Any more than that, I feel like I start getting guilt. Why are you playing so long? 1 hour is enough for a day. Or outdoor activities. That's my go-to. Besides that, I honestly enjoy my work. I have fun when I work. And it's kind of what pushes me, what makes me capable of working very long hours without feeling exhausted.
Yeah, again, and it all comes back to that balance. But if you enjoy what you do in general as a day job, then it just adds so much more value. What is your favorite movie of all time?
That's a bad question to ask me. I'm not... I don't really memorize the movies I watch. I'm mostly into either pure entertainment movies or economical related movies, like movies about some economics or philosophy. Like these are three categories. Anything else, I feel, as you're watching it, you start realizing stuff. It's not too much fun. So either I know I'm watching something for entertainment or I know I'm watching it for economical or philosophical purposes. There's one movie I remember, and I know every man on this planet remembers. So I'm just going to go with it. And I'm going to say Shrek. Because why not? Why not have a little bit of fun?
Yes, I like that. I think there's a lot more people that enjoy those types of animated movies than let on. I know a lot of people that go to the cinema and watch them. So
it's simple, it's lightweight. You're going in just have fun entertainment, not too complex in topic. Just simple stuff for you when you want to relax, and packed with a lot of jokes and memes.
Yeah, it's a complete switch off, isn't it, from general day to day? So
exactly.
I think that's a great choice. What's your most unpopular opinion about the crypto space?
I have to think how unpopular I want to go, because I don't want everyone to hate me. One popular opinion I have, and I think many people also share with me, but don't speak it too much out loud because they don't want it to cause too much of a fuss in Web3, is that Web3 was, to a certain extent, kind of ruined by its own community and investments. Because I've been in Web3 for 8 years, maybe close to 9 years now. And I remember in the early days, it was very serious. Stable coins were coming up, synthetic assets were coming up, lots of meaningful, useful projects on the blockchain, mostly within finance. Now, we did achieve a lot. We built decentralized exchanges, lending protocols, stablecoins, and stablecoins are still around and very successful. But ever since 2020, I would say, when the NFT boom started and when the meme coins started, everyone has shifted their attention to just quick cash grabs. Everyone just wanted to make money quick. They didn't care how they made it. NFT collection, meme coin, and attention to serious projects faded, and it became harder and harder to build a serious project because to a certain level, it was harder to even get funding for it. Because I remember back in the day, Mirror Protocol, for example, was offering synthetic assets, and I would use those because that was the point of crypto, free finance to everyone. My unpopular opinion is that Web3 community ruined the trajectory of Web3 and to a certain extent also ruined their reputation. Building a serious project nowadays is much more difficult. Even though Web3 is more popular, it's much more difficult than doing it pre-to hype.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And there's more recently as well, the ICO of Plasma has taken up quite a lot of news. But those ICOs were literally all over the place 4 or 5 years ago. And as you said, in the last couple of years, it's been very difficult for genuine projects to raise the capital they want to actually advance technology and innovation and offer things that, as you say, just aren't available. My personal opinion is that I think pump.fun has had a huge impact in the market of just creating low quality content.
And the thing is, this has a ripple effect because smart people who want to build smart projects are leaving Web3. Like, you have the people that can actually advance the space leaving it. Because they're like, if the space cannot appreciate my genius, I cannot contribute to it, I'll go contribute to something else. I'll contribute to AI. I'll contribute to some other emerging technology. Like, this drawback has pushed away many smart brains from Web3 and it just has a ripple effect.
Yeah, I think that's a great overview. And speaking of big brains as well and people in general, who would your dream collaboration be? So this could be a person, it could be a company, and it doesn't have to be crypto related.
I would actually pick the United Arab Emirates government, because I've been living in Dubai for the past 3 years. I've seen the amazing things they've done. I've seen the open mentality they have and the hunger they have for innovation and technological adoption. It's something I love to see when a government is pushing that hard to innovate on all sectors. So what I'd actually love to see, I'd love to work with the United Arab governments to establish Pwr Chain as an underlying blockchain infrastructure for both government-related operations and also internal economical related operations such as internal banking. I know blockchain can help a lot, and I would dream and love of such a collaboration to further enhance the capabilities of the government and further enhance the lifestyle. Because I'm living there right now. I plan to continue on living there, and I really want to see the place improve more and more because it deserves it. They deserve it. They work really hard, and I'd love to work with them and as hard as them to push it forth even further.
You know something? I think that's both achievable and realistic, given the way that we're moving in the space over the next 5 years. So I'll be interested for people to watch out and see how it develops. But no, I actually think that's
hopefully
genuine potential.
That would be my dream come true, because ever since I came into Web3, especially where I come originally from Lebanon, and when I was turning 18, the entire banking system collapsed. Everyone lost their money. You couldn't transfer, you couldn't receive, you couldn't do anything. I survived off of crypto. And since that moment, I decided and I said to myself, I want to live on the blockchain. I want everything I do to be on the blockchain, because then I know I'm secured. I know I am safe. And now I have a sense of safety living in Dubai, living in the UAE, and I want to further enhance it and keep it going for future generations.
Fantastic answer. We're going to roll back a few years. What's something you believed growing up that obviously wasn't true that just makes you laugh when you think about it?
See, I don't remember too much of my childhood, to be honest. Honestly, ever since I started my first company at the age of 17, and my memory before that, for some reason, was kind of wiped out. Like, I remember very little stuff. I think I was so focused from then till now on just work that I've forgotten most of the stuff that came before. When I was growing up in Lebanon, there was a problem with the mentality of the population. The problem was that there's no jobs, kind of that sort of thing. So everyone would say, oh, I'm studying, and Lebanon has one of the best education systems in the world, best universities, especially in the Middle East. Even now, after the crisis, the universities are still renowned in Lebanon. So everyone would talk, we're working so hard to get a good education. We're also paying so much money to get a good education. But in the end, there's no jobs. You know, they say that. And it's that mentality that makes me laugh.
I think you've raised a valid point about jobs worldwide. I think there's so much emphasis put on the education system, but ultimately there needs to be something on the other side.
There needs to be entrepreneurship. You need to create those jobs.
As you say, it's a bit of a societal conveyor belt at the moment with nothing at the end. If you could live in any time period, which would you choose? City, location, past or future?
Also, I can also choose future. Okay, here's the thing. There's not a single time period in history that's all that good. You know, there's always problems, past, present, and there will always be problems in the future. I would most certainly not choose the future because I would have no idea what's there. You know, we might be slaves to AI or God knows what would have happened. So I'm definitely not choosing that. And looking at the past, there's no easy area. Like right now, I can sit at home, work, and, you know, make a living and enjoy my work while sitting at home. If I go back just 50 years, there's no work in which I make money, or there's very little work in which I make money without intense 12-hour labor a day. And I've experienced that as a child. Like I've been working with my father in the meat industry ever since I was 13, and I know it's not easy. So I would actually decide to stay right where I am. I'm grateful to where I am in life. I don't look too much on previous mistakes and wish I could have fixed that or I could have fixed this. So I just live where I am and continue from here.
Next stuff. Again, great in-depth answer. What's the scariest thing you've ever done, and was it worth it?
The scariest thing I've done was just moving to Dubai when I was 19. So at that age, most people are just, kids in university, depending on their parents and all of that. At 19, I was already my own personal financer. I had a company, employees. I went to Dubai to set up my company there. And yeah, I would say I went to Dubai first time for 1 week, just attending events. Then after that, I decided to set up my company there. And I went for what was supposed to be 1 month, and it ended up being 3 months. I would say those 3 months were the biggest adventure of my life because I'm going for 3 months in uncharted territory. I know absolutely nothing about Dubai. I went one time and it was for events and I was staying in a hotel right next to the place. So I didn't know anything about the country. I jumped between so many hotels. I stayed in so many places. I even stayed at places of friends at some times. At a certain point, I actually didn't have my passport because it was I think it's I forgot which ministry, but they needed to stamp the residency on it. Back then, they were still doing that. And I literally had no passport. And I left my hotel not knowing that I needed a passport to get into a hotel. Long story short, one of the hotels ended up accepting me on a passport image, even though everyone was refusing. They were like, you need to have a passport. Then after that, I stayed for like 2 weeks with a friend. Yeah, it's a very nostalgic moment in my life. There was a lot of struggle in it because even back then there were some financial struggles in the company. It was a bear market in Web3. Everything was plummeting. Most of our clients had just quit Web3, projects going bankrupt left and right. So it was both a tough time financially and personally because I was in totally uncharted territory with no one. Like I had no family there, nothing. Luckily, I ended up making some great friends. Honestly, like even now in summer, I think of going back to Dubai in the heat of summer just because I missed the amazing friends I made there.
Yeah, I think that's a huge leap of faith as well. There's a lot of people that stay with their parents until they're 25 or 30 in the current climate. So to take that leap of faith at 19 as a business owner, kudos to you. I think that's I think that's highly impressive. So it's certainly not something I would have done. And the final question is bucket list. What's the number one thing that you want to tick off, Eddie?
I would say Pwr Chain mainnet. Because right now nothing else comes to mind. So we've been focusing for the past year purely on Pwr Chain, finishing it. Now the tech is in its latest changes, latest phases. So right now I just want to finish the tech, finish all the programs on top of it. We have developer relations program, business development programs, finish all of that, go mainnet with Pwr Chain, and then start planning for the next phase for Pwr Chain. So right now, number one bucket list, finishing all remaining development and programs and going mainnet with Pwr Chain.
So how people get involved in Pwr Chain? Which social media channels?
You can get involved in Pwr Chain in multiple ways. One of them, if as an influencer or as a regular Twitter user, we currently have a portal for content creators. We even have a private Telegram group. We call it the Powerhouse that has, I think, over 100 members right now of content creators, community members. If you want, you can also contribute as a validator. We have a Discord server where we manage all our validators. We have over 500 people with the validator role in there helping us, contributing to the testnet. And if you're a developer that just wants to explore blockchain in general, we'd also love to connect either through our Discord server or Telegram official channel to help you develop your ideas on Pwr Chain, see how Pwr Chain can benefit you technologically and from a business perspective to boost your company, to boost your project. Feel free to reach out to us on any of our channels. We have public Discord server, public Telegram channel. And of course, on Twitter, everyone is always welcome to engage in a conversation.
Fantastic. Great final overview there, Eddie. And for the listeners, please do take a look at Pwr Chain. They are building something very special in this space. But it's been fantastic having you on today, Eddie. So on behalf of myself and the Crypto PowerPod, thank you very much. And we will see everybody else in the next episode.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day, everyone.